Why do I feel like I'm about to start an apology video? I'm not. Hey everyone, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ilana. I primarily make music content on this channel, which is why I have a feeling that people watching this video are going to be different from my usual audience. That doesn't mean that I'm not happy to have you. Welcome, hello, new friends. I am making this video because 1 week ago I started Accutane. Well, technically I started isotretinoin because Accutane doesn't exist anymore, but everybody just calls it Accutane. Being 23 and starting Accutane can feel very isolating. While I do have some friends who have taken Accutane before, they all took it when they were much younger. There's a lot of stuff on the internet about Accutane, don't get me wrong, but I've found that a lot of it can be very sensationalist and scary. And I'm the type of person who will look something up and then fall down a rabbit hole and freak myself out and talk myself out of doing anything just because I looked it up on the internet one time. I wanted to start this video series, video diary, to not only keep track of my progress, but also to hopefully help other people out there who are starting Accutane feel less alone and hopefully less worried. This video, because it's the intro, is definitely going to be longer than the others. I'm gonna break this video up into 3 parts. It'll all be in one video, but the chapters will be divided. Those 3 parts are going to be my history with acne and acne medication, why I didn't want to go on Accutane and why I eventually did start it, and how I'm feeling today. Week 1, side effects. What's going on? What's up? So, before we dive right in, I have to do the YouTuber thing and encourage you to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell and all that good stuff. I will be posting regular Accutane and acne progress videos on here, but I also post music every week. Usually it's covers, but sometimes I throw some originals in there. So if any of that interests you, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, all that jazz, and let's get into the darn thing. First thing I want to do is turn off my ring light and get uncomfortably close to the camera. This is so you can really see what my skin looks like right now. It's not great, I'll say that. Most of my acne is concentrated around the chin with some on the upper lip and around the nose. I've got a lot kind of like hiding in the corners over here. There's a little bit on my forehead, not a lot though. And I also do have the occasional body acne, but mine is almost entirely concentrated on my face, with a little bit on my chest, back, and stomach. I'm pretty sure I got my first zit. I know I was in elementary school. I think I was probably 8 or 9, and I got it right between the brows. What I didn't know at the time was it was actually my first cystic acne. That bad boy didn't go away for months. And because it was my first zit, I sure tried everything to get rid of it. Not realizing that, please don't pop a cyst. If you are going to pop your own pimples, which you shouldn't, but if you are, because I know you are, do not pop a cyst. Leave those alone. From then on out, my acne only started to worsen and started to get pretty bad when I was around 15 or 16. That's when I started experiencing what I not so lovingly referred to as pizza chin. That was when I first started acne medication. I can't tell you with any ounce of certainty what medications I've taken because I'm pretty sure I've taken just about everything that's available on the market, between pills and topical creams and all of that. I've tried all the different combinations of things, but the 2 that I remember the most have been minocycline and doxycycline. I've also been to about 5 different dermatologists in my life, and all of them had different game plans, different ideas. The one common thing that I noticed when I took acne medication, specifically ones in like pill form that you actually had to take and not like just topical creams, is that they would work really well for a couple of months. And then it would come back. When the acne came back, there were a couple of different ways that I went about things. Sometimes I would up my dosage. Sometimes I would just continue and try to ride the wave out, which never really worked. Sometimes I would switch to a different medication. And one time, when that happened, I said, I'm going off medication completely. I don't want to do this anymore, if it's not even gonna work. Back in, I want to say, August of 2020, I started acne medication again. So I was off of it for about a year. I started with minocycline, and while it took a while to work, when it worked, it worked. For a couple of months. So then in January, I saw a new doctor and switched over to doxycycline. Both of these I had been on in the past, but we were giving them another good old college try. Similarly to the minocycline, the doxycycline worked for a couple of months and then stopped. That was when I decided to talk to my doctor about using birth control to treat my acne. Another solution that I had never tried. Up until that point, the only two solutions I hadn't tried were birth control and Accutane. Every single one of my doctors had tried to put me on Accutane, and I had always refused, but we'll get to that later. Birth control was my last resort, and Accutane was my Hail Mary. I really did not want to go on either of them, but my acne had gotten so bad that I said, fine, put me on the birth control. Unfortunately, we discovered that my body does not like the birth control pill. I didn't even get to take it, didn't even try it once. I get pretty bad migraines, and they don't recommend it for people with migraines with aura, which is something that I get. Migraines with aura usually means migraines that affect your vision. So for example, when I get migraines, I get a really big blind spot for about 30 minutes before the headache. So birth control isn't an option that I have, and I'm getting desperate. So I told my doctor, fine, let's try this thing. Which leads us into chapter 2. The main reason I didn't want to do it was fear. Fear of side effects, fear of monthly blood tests, because like I mentioned earlier in the video, a lot of people talking about Accutane on the internet really sensationalize what happened to them, and it really freaked me out. I also have a really bad fear of needles, and somebody told me that Accutane came with monthly blood tests. Lucky for me, that's not true. At least not true for everybody. I did have to get a blood test before starting Accutane, but luckily my, chemicals and hormones came back normal, and my doctor felt comfortable with me not taking regular blood tests. If you are a person who is capable of getting pregnant, you do have to take monthly pregnancy tests on Accutane. Usually that is done through blood test. However, some doctor's offices, including mine, allow you to do a urine test. So because I don't need the blood test to check my hormone levels and my chemical levels, I'm able to do the urine test for the pregnancy test, which made me ecstatic. So that's one fear out the window. The other fear was just side effects. You've heard of the flaking and the drying and the peeling and the oiliness and the purging of the acne, which I didn't learn about until it started happening to me. And on top of that, I heard a lot about how it can affect your mental health. Something that, I don't have a lot of. For full disclosure, I am currently medicated for my mental health, and that was another reason why I did feel comfortable starting Accutane. While I'm aware that Accutane can cause my mental health to deteriorate while I'm taking it, I have been in therapy for about a year now, and I have been on medication for about 6 months. So I'm hoping that with the combination of those two things, I will be able to combat any negative feelings I have from Accutane enough. I know that it won't make everything perfect, but hopefully it will make everything manageable. The air conditioning came on, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep recording through it because it's really hot. Another thing in terms of mental health that I didn't consider until very recently was how my skin affects my mental health. When I have bad skin days or weeks or months, I don't feel good. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to put a camera right in front of my face. And that made it really hard because my job is in social media. My job is to be on camera. And it was really taking a toll on me. Even though Accutane may affect my mental health, that is a temporary problem for what will hopefully be a permanent solution. I'm not gonna lie, I've been on Accutane for a week and it already sucks. It sucks a lot. But like I said, temporary problem for a hopefully permanent solution for something that has been bothering me for over 10 years of my life. I have kind of been a prisoner to my skin, doing everything I can to protect it and to heal it, and nothing was working. And I'm tired of it. so that's why I went on Accutane. All right, final chapter. I'm gonna be honest, not great. As I showed you earlier, my skin is not good. Now, my skin has looked like this naturally before, without Accutane, but it was also not looking this gnarly a week ago when I first started. I had a couple of cysts and a couple of whiteheads, but nothing like this. My first couple of days on Accutane, nothing really happened, and then the side effects kicked in like you fall asleep, slowly, and then all at once. I think it was about 4 days into my treatment that I woke up in the morning with extremely dry skin and acne popping up all over. My skin on my face, especially around my like T-zone, has started to flake. However, this area of my face has started to become very oily. So I've been combating that by using an oil-free moisturizer, a gentle cleanser, and those oil blotting wipes pretty frequently. The other thing that's already been happening, which my doctor told me is pretty much a guarantee, is that my lips are so chapped. So apologies to anybody that I kiss before I'm done with this whole rigmarole. I've currently been using Burt's Bees chapstick because that's what I used before going on Accutane, but I am considering trying something stronger like a Vaseline chapstick. I think they make a specific like Vaseline brand makes chapstick, and I think I might try that. Another thing I will say is that my face is so itchy. I think it's because my skin is really sensitive, so anything can kind of irritate it, which is why my hair is in these yucky messy buns, because feeling my hair brush up against my face was really uncomfortable. I have been told that everybody and their mother has a different experience with these side effects. For some people, the purging stage, which is what I'm going through right now, where your skin basically has to just get rid of all the gunk that's in there. For some, that stage can last for 6 months, but for some it can last for 3 weeks. So the only way we'll know is with time. It's been 1 week, and I've been in the purging stage for a couple of days, so I know that I'm nowhere near out of the woods. But hopefully the woods are not that big. That's pretty much it in terms of side effects. I've also been using a very strong sunscreen, both on my face and on my body. I wear a hat every time I go outside during the day, and I have a humidifier in the back of my room that is pretty much going all the time except for when I'm filming. I am uncomfortable, but it's not unbearable, and I'm doing everything I can to ease the pain just a little bit. And let me tell you, if I have clear skin at the end of this, absolutely worth it. 100%. Of course, at the end of my treatment, I will touch on those thoughts again, but right now, that's how I'm feeling. As someone who's in the thick of the side effects, I still think it would be worth it. One other thing that I do want to mention about Accutane is how it can affect people who can conceive. I mentioned earlier in the video that if you are capable of conceiving, you have to take a monthly pregnancy test. That also means that you can't start Accutane right away. I had to have my first consultation with my doctor, take a pregnancy test, and then 1 month later take another pregnancy test, and then I was allowed to start Accutane. They also make you sign a thing that you will use 2 forms of birth control at all times. They warn against abstinence because life happens, but for transparency's sake, my 2 forms of birth control are the hormonal IUD and condoms. The hormonal IUD may also be aggravating my acne a little bit, but again, that's what Accutane is here to fix. I got the IUD about 2 weeks before I started Accutane because I got it for Accutane. The company that gives out Accutane, I don't know if it's the same across the board, but for me, they warn a lot about what could happen to a potential child if you were to conceive while on Accutane. This video isn't going to be the video where I go into any politics or personal feelings about that, so all I will say is if you can get pregnant and you're taking Accutane and you're sexually active, be careful, but know your options, and those options may differ based on where you live. That's all I got for this first Accutane video diary introduction to my series. I think in the future I may experiment with the format of these videos, but what I'm currently planning on doing is filming weekly updates but posting them monthly. Let me know in the comments if you'd prefer to see them weekly, or if you'd prefer to see them less often, or how you're feeling about that. Thank you so much for sticking around through this video. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all those fun YouTube things, and I will see you next time. Have a great rest of your day. Bye! Wow.